What Quincy Jones said about Indiana native Michael Jackson. Quincy Jones isn't holding much back as he nears his 85th birthday and rolls out new music video subscription service Qwest TV. The music icon gave unfiltered interviews to GQ.com and vulture.com in advance of his March 14th birthday. The conversations have attracted attention for Jones' frank recollections about Ray Charles and heroin, the Beatles' inept musicianship and a dinner date with Ivanka Trump. Because Jones served as co-producer for massively popular Michael Jackson albums Off the Wall, Thriller and Bad, Jones also talked about the Gary, native who died in 2009. Jones told GQ his daughter, Rashida Jones, once suffered a bite from Jackson's famous chimpanzee, Bubbles. In an interview published today by vulture.com, a pop culture offshoot of New York Magazine, Jones said Jackson approached his career in Machiavellian terms. What made the king of pop a schemer? I hate to get into this publicly, but Michael stole a lot of stuff, Jones told New York Magazine contributing editor David Marchese. Jones said Jackson lifted the bass line from State of Independence, recorded by Donna Summer and written by Vangelis and Yes vocalist John Anderson, for Billie Jean, one of Jackson's biggest hits. Jones said Jackson didn't properly credit keyboard player Greg Phil Lincolns for songwriter contributions to Don't Stop Till You Get Enough. Greedy, man. Greedy, Jones said of Jackson. In July 2017, a California jury ruled that Jackson's estate owed $9.4 million in royalties to Jones for the use of music in the film This Is It and to Cirque du Soleil productions. Before his association with Jackson, Jones worked with notable Indiana jazz musicians J.J. Johnson, Freddie Hubbard, David Baker, and Wes Montgomery. Johnson composed and conducted music for the 1971 film Man and Boy, which featured Jones as music supervisor. Johnson played trombone on Jones' 1970 album Quincy Jones and the Giants of Jazz. Trumpet player Freddie Hubbard was a member of the Quincy Jones Big Band during its 1960 European tour. Hubbard appeared on multiple studio recordings by Jones, including 1964's Golden Boy and 1969's Walking in Space. Esteemed jazz educator Baker played trombone on the same tour that took Hubbard to Europe. Jones wrote the foreword for David Baker, A Legacy in Music, a 2011 biography written by Monica Herzig. Jones produced a recording session for guitarist Montgomery in 1955. Quincy Jones, the Beatles were the worst musicians in the world. Legendary record producer Quincy Jones has described the Beatles as the worst musicians in the world as he recalled meeting the band for the first time during an interview to promote a new Netflix documentary and U.S. television special. Quincy Jones pictured in 2017. Quincy Jones in 2017. In the new interview with New York Magazine, he discussed his first impressions of the Beatles in unsparing terms. They were the worst musicians in the world, he told interviewer David Marchese. They were no playing motherfuckers. Paul McCartney was the worst bass player I ever heard. Drummer Ringo Starr came in for particular opprobrium, and Ringo? Don't even talk about it. Jones recalled arranging Love Is a Many Splendored Thing for Starr's 1970 debut solo album Sentimental Journey. Ringo had taken 3 hours for a 4-bar thing he was trying to fix on a song. He couldn't get it. We said, mate, why don't you get some lager and lime, some shepherd's pie, and take an hour and a half and relax a little bit. In the interim, Jones called English jazz drummer Ronnie Verrill into the studio. Ronnie came in for 15 minutes and tore it up. Ringo comes back and says, George Martin, can you play it back for me one more time? Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest. So George did, and Ringo says, that didn't sound so bad. And I said, yeah, motherfucker, because it ain't you. Great guy, though. Jones, 84, reserved praise for Eric Clapton's Cream, the guitar skills of Microsoft co-founder Paul Allen and Tropicalia artists Gilberto Gil and Caetano Veloso, but lamented U2's latter-day output. I love Bono with all my heart, but there's too much pressure on the band, Jones said. In the enjoyably unguarded Q&A, Jones chastised his most famous charge, the late Michael Jackson, for stealing a lot of stuff from other artists without paying them. He was as Machiavellian as they come, he said. Jones also claimed to know the identity of JFK's killer, Chicago mobster Sam Giancana. We shouldn't talk about this publicly, and to have briefly dated Ivanka Trump 12 years ago, she had the most beautiful legs I ever saw in my life. Wrong father, though. Later in the interview, Jones called Trump Sr. a fucking idiot. Jones has won 27 Grammy Awards out of 79 total nominations. Jackson's 1982 album Thriller won 8 of those awards. Jones balked at New York Magazine's suggestion that any of his productions had ever underperformed. What the fuck are you talking about, he asked Marchese. I've never had that problem. They were all big. Since you're here, we have a small favor to ask. More people are reading The Guardian than ever, but advertising revenues across the media are falling fast. And unlike many news organizations, we haven't put up a paywall. We want to keep our journalism as open as we can. So you can see why we need to ask for your help. The Guardian's independent, investigative journalism takes a lot of time, money, and hard work to produce. But we do it because we believe our perspective matters, because it might well be your perspective, too.